Hello and welcome to the video. This is a very quick video showing you how I have put this radio here, this is the FrOS X10, back to the FrOS operating system. Now those of you that watch the channel a lot will know that I am a massive fan of OpenTX. And one of the things that those of you who watched my What's Coming in 2019 video will remember, I talked about OpenTX and my hope that it gets a little bit easier to use. It maybe needs like a shell or some more expansive wizards, or maybe even like a simple mode for those pilots that don't want to learn how to use the full complexity of OpenTX. And there are some other little wrinkles with it as well. This X10 that we're looking at here is actually a friend of mine. Now he bought this from Motion RC. Motion RC is an outfit that started off in America, has been in Europe now for probably the best part of a year, and you can get your FrOS Sky stuff from there. So he's ordered it from there, came with the FrOS operating system. He of course wanted to use OpenTX, so put OpenTX on it, and then found things like the wizard wasn't working properly and he was getting lots of error messages and he couldn't figure out how to set things up. So long story short, I have told him that I will work and get it back to FrOS, because I took the radio from him and said, oh, it can't be that complicated. I've never had an X10 here, so I haven't had a chance to use it. But I got it from him and updated everything. As you can see here, the navigation on the X10 is quite intuitive. Those big controls and that lovely, beautiful color screen makes OpenTX very easy to set up and to use. But it doesn't feel like it's quite finished, because if you look at things like the wizard setup, even on the very latest version, there isn't a full set of wizards here. And for my particular mate, that isn't going to fly at all. It's just going to confuse the gubbins out of him. So I'm going to put this back onto FrOS here, and I just very quickly want to show you how I've done that, and need to give a very big shout out to Andy RC's channel. Andy RC lives near me. Andy RC and I are friends, and he has an X10, so it was a couple of phone calls over the Christmas period to pick his brains to make sure I wasn't going to bugger up this radio completely. Now this all has to be done from Companion, and you're going to need two things to get the radio back. The first is these 4 subdirectories and a backup of the original operating system. Now I'm going to make these files available for you if you haven't kept these when you flashed your radio to OpenTX, although I'd always recommend doing that. Now I'm just going to keep all of these files somewhere safe on my computer so that I've got them handy when I need to copy everything to the radio, because we're going to install the SD card contents back onto the SD card on the radio and get rid of all the stuff that the OpenTX installation upgrade put on there. And we're also then going to reflash the original FrOS backup firmware onto the radio, and that will put it back to how it came from Motion RC. So the first thing I'm doing here is just copying everything back onto the SD card that's going to go back into the bottom of the radio, and that's the easy part done. Next thing we need to do is we need to plug the radio into the computer using the USB port at the back. Now, when you plug the radio into the computer the first time, it isn't going to appear at all. So we're going to have to use Zadig to find and replace the driver that is being shown as a bootloader with something else that Companion can actually talk to. So we're going to find the STM32 bootloader in all of the available devices on my computer. We then click on Replace Driver, and just like you do with Betaflight flight controllers and other things in the hobby, and that's going to replace the driver successfully. Now that's done, we can actually flash the operating system back onto the radio. We need to make sure we have the right radio type selected for this so that everything works okay. So I'm going to make sure that I have the Horus X10 X10S selected, and then I'm going to find the backup of the original firmware that we created when the radio was flashed, and I'm going to flash that to the radio. Now it's going to warn me to say that this bin or binary file isn't one from OpenTX, but that's fine. We're just using Companion here to push this down into the radio. Now this update takes a long time. I'm not going to make you sit through the whole thing, but you can see how quickly it isn't moving. So this is one of those things you need to make sure your radio is all okay and you're not going to accidentally unplug it during the process, and it's just going to sit there and work its way through. Once it's complete, unplug the cable from the back of the radio, and then next time you press the power button, it'll burst into life and it'll be back to running FrOS. And if you've copied everything into the root directory of the SD card as we've just shown, then that will also work too. Hopefully the implementation of OpenTX on the radio will continue to improve, and additional wizards and easy controls will be added as well. The interface is nice and easy to use in FrOS. It's a very, very close cousin to OpenTX, so you can do the majority of the things. The only things that you can't do, that you have to be careful of with FrOS, is the fact that things like the Team Black Sheep crossfire system isn't supported in here. If you're going to want to use that with an X10, then you're going to have to flash it with OpenTX and just accept the fact that some of the things like the wizards don't appear completely finished. Thanks for watching the video and watching right to the very end. You can find me in all the usual places on social media, and if you like the video and like what I'm doing here, then hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon too. If you really like what I'm doing, you can go the extra mile and become one of my Patreons for access to me directly for support, and also giveaways and regular updates too. If you're looking for particular content, then check out the playlist. I organize all of my videos into playlists, so if you're looking for a particular topic, you can find everything here. If it's called Introduction To, it's designed to start very simply and build on that simple introduction to teach you all about it. If it's called For Beginners, then that is really aimed at people who are brand new to that part of the hobby. You can also search on YouTube for anything that you're interested in using the search function at the top. So iNav Painless 360 will find all of my videos and even the playlist around iNav. So thanks again for watching, and happy flying.